Welcome to Drive Momentum, the podcast. I'm your host, Jaime Trevino, and let's rev up your inspiration, fuel your passion, and shift into high gear as we ignite Drive Momentum, the podcast, where motivation meets movement. What's up, everyone? So thank you for watching our podcast here. So what we have here, we have two special guests, amazing couple, and Dr. Sergio Lira and Maria Lira. So how y'all doing?
Doing great.
Nice. Well, thank you for being part of the podcast. And guys, what we're trying to do here is we want to talk about marriage. They're a power couple, and they've been married for many years, and they're an inspiration to many. So this is what this is all about, and we want to learn, but at the same time exchange, our experiences and how we navigate sometimes through challenges, but at the same time, even good things as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. So tell us a little bit about y'all.
Okay, well, let me start by saying that we're honored to be on this program. April 29th, we'll be celebrating our 35th anniversary.
Nice.
We're excited. It's a huge milestone, but It's been a tremendous journey, a wonderful journey. Of course, marriage is a journey, a journey of love. But love means also it's not always an easy ride. So, we can share more about that later. But my wife may add, we have some beautiful children and grandkids.
Nice.
Yes, we have two kids, a boy and a girl. And then we have two grandkids, a boy and a girl.
That's beautiful.
So we're perfect.
That is
Awesome.
perfect.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
So when Jaime and I were thinking about, we did a podcast, him and I, and I know that sometimes, people are looking for, towards or looking for people that have that strong union and have that strong support system as a couple. And I think that for Jaime and I, when we think about power couple, when we think about, just having that love and support, we think about you too. Mm-hmm. And y'all are very inspirational to both of us. Y'all are some of the most valued people in our life. We look up to you, and that's why we thought it would be so perfect and so important to bring you all today to talk about your experiences through marriage and support, and how you navigate through all of it. Especially 35 years. That is amazing. That is so great.
That is amazing. That is amazing. So where did y'all meet? How did everything start?
I let my husband start it.
Yes.
He found me.
Oh, okay. He found you. Yeah, got you. Yes.
Well,
yeah.
Everything's a divine intervention. We met at a church and a youth group in downtown, the original Sacred Heart downtown. I was in my first years in college, and I was trying to find a place, where I can go to church and a youth group to connect with. And there was a sister. I was in the choir. I can take this back at Immaculate Heart of Mary. And then we got invited to a youth group in downtown. They were creating the first Hispanic youth ministry in Spanish because they had them in English. So I was invited with some friends. And for 2 years, it was 2 years of formation of creating this youth retreat in Spanish. And we were guided by Sister Helen Spanos, who's an angel on earth. She's still alive. She guided us, and Father Lynch, who loaned us the co-cathedral, one of the rooms for our meetings. So after 2 years of working together to start the first retreat in Spanish for the youth, for them to have an encounter with Christ and just to find some good values in our Catholic religion. We started, and 37 years later, it still exists.
Wow.
So there's over 4,000, now I think almost 5,000 members. They're going on their 78th retreat. They have two
amazing.
per year. Mm-hmm. So anyway, we had our first retreat. We come back filled with the Holy Spirit, and we're going to evangelize the world. We're going to save the world, right?
That's it. Yeah.
We were on fire. Our soul was on fire. But so then there was the first retreat were mixed. It was boys and girls, because then you separate them. You have retreats for young girls and then retreats for young men. And at that time was 1995. the influx of immigrants from Central America, Salvador, Guatemala,
yes, I
Mexico,
remember that.
Honduras were coming after the civil wars. I mean, it was a huge influx, so they weren't able to fit into any type of youth group. So this group really reached out to them, and they became part of that. Maria became a youth retreat member after the third retreat, or number
I
three.
made
The third retreat, and after the retreat, she came out of the retreat, and we there to support them. And all of a sudden, I just saw this bright light,
Yes.
flashing, and it was the Cupid's arrow, and it struck my heart. And then,
Aw.
and ever since then, I said I was ready. I said the Lord put us together, and we've been together ever since.
Absolutely. And Maria, did you get that same light and energy when you met him? Did you see the person that you were going to spend the rest of your life with when you met him?
Not really. Because he was dark when I met him. So to tell you the truth, I was so in the Holy Spirit moment. So he just came and touched my back, and he said, "Congratulations." And I just turned and said, "Oh, thank you," and I left. And then I didn't think about who did it or who was him or anything like that. It was like, I think after 3 months, when I don't know, something came in my mind,
It was God.
and I start thinking, who was the boy who touched my back? And then I start asking one of my friends, and then she said, "I don't know who you're talking about." And I was like, he was tall, kind of white skin, but it was dark. I'm not sure. So I was like that. And finally, I told her, I think he was like a boy that he never comes in like in a regular basic on Mondays. And because it was every Mondays, and he didn't appear in a couple of months. And that's why maybe I didn't make the connection.
Okay.
So finally she said, I know who you're talking about. You're talking about Sergio. And I was like, well, I don't even know his name. And then a couple of weeks later, he showed up. And I was like, I think it's him, but I wasn't sure. Finally, he said, why you don't ask? And I said, no. So finally he came, and then, because he knew me, I didn't, but he said, hi. And then he started talking to me, and I said, were you the boy who? And then he said, yeah, it was me. I said, oh, okay. So after that, I started thinking about him, and then he started telling me, like, do you want to go out to eat, or do you want to go to the movies? And I was like, I'll let you know later. And finally, one time, he asked me to go to the movies, and I said yes, so he can tell you what happened there.
Awesome. So where were you for 2 months? She didn't see you for 2 months. Studying.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was in college and studying late at evening, and our first day was memorable because it was done very strategically.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I said, I just felt this is the right person. I said, oh my God, I think the Lord put me the right person in my path, and so I said, we went to the park, had maybe just some little outings, and then I said, let's go to the movies. She said, sure. And then we went to the Galleria.
Okay.
They used to have a cinema. There was cinema 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and they were on the ground.
Oh, wow.
So she didn't know, what was playing. She's not a big movie buff like I am, but she was willing to go. So I said, you know what, we're going to go see Poltergeist.
Oh, my God.
But it was
Poltergeist.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
And so we were in this big theater, and it was dark, and we're watching Poltergeist, and I was sitting right next to her like this, right? And if you saw the movie Poltergeist,
Yes.
it was real, we were really engaged into the movies, and all of a sudden, when the alien comes out, she screams and grabs my hand, and that was my first grabbing of her hand.
Wow.
And
So it was all part of the plan.
it was part of the plan.
It was part of the plan.
And it worked.
And it worked. It worked.
So for the younger generation, that might help.
That's right.
Yeah.
Take them to a really scary movie where there's going to be a lot of jump scares.
Yeah, I still remember that movie. That's why I don't like the clowns. That clown that came out underneath the bed. That's what messed me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, That's so funny. Our first date was the movie.
Yeah, it was a movie.
Yeah, so maybe that's the
It was a
trick.
7
Everyone, go to the movies on your first date.
Our first
Yes.
date was like 7 hours.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was
so-
a long date.
was a long date.
So then from there, your relationship just developed over time. How long after were you married?
We dated for about 3.5 years, and then we were involved with the youth group, and we had that common purpose of helping the youth, seeing more youth come out of the youth retreat, connected with their church.
Yeah.
It instilled so many good values, and you could see the happiness in each one of them. Just young men and young women who seemed lost. They just seemed lost. But when you find the Lord, you have purpose and you have meaning in your life.
Yes.
So everything doesn't seem, like you're in limbo. Okay, so we just worked together, and I coordinated several retreats. She recorded several retreats, and then, we dated for about 2.5 years, and then I popped a big question at Donoraki's with mariachis and the ring inside the cake.
Oh, wow.
It was my birthday.
And
It was
her
your
It was your birthday, too.
The original
Awesome.
Donoraki's on North Main.
On North Main.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So then we decided to get married through the Catholic Church, and when you get married through the Catholic Church, and my parents, I grew up seeing their picture on the wall every day in the living room. When they got married through the Catholic Church was the white dress, my mother and my dad. Probably the only time I saw him in a suit. So and they were in his funeral, but and so I always had that ingrained in my back of my head that that's what marriage is about. Is my father, my mother getting married to the church, and when we wanted to have our church wedding. And we did, and I always remember that as being sacred, and it's forever,
Yes.
We have all these dichos, lo que Dios une, el hombre no separa, and we truly believe in that. We have
Sí.
those common values.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's definitely important at the beginning, is having those common values, those things that bring you together, and you're able to see, your life with this person because you hold that, near and dear. And I think that's super important. I think Jaime and I are similar, where we have the same beliefs and values, and that's so important to start a good foundation. But not only that, but you all had already a solid foundation going into the marriage, but then both of y'all were pursuing your own individual careers, correct? And what did that look like at the beginning?
Well, like Sergio said, I came from Mexico. So when I came here, I was already a nurse, like a registered nurse. So for me, it was I wasn't looking for another career, but I was looking to learn English. That's why I came here, because my father was he passed away already, so he was a citizen, but my parents got divorced when I was 5. So my mother and us, we were living in Mexico, and my father was living in Laredo, Texas. And but I don't know how, I became a resident at that time. And then I came to Houston because my sisters were here, and I came to learn the English that I was needing to work in the border in Laredo, Texas, because I was living in Nuevo Laredo.
Oh, okay.
So I came here for that reason. But because of, it was hard for me to understand the culture over here. It was my first time living in Houston. I was coming like for vacations, but never to stay. And then I realized that it was hard for me, because in the 1986 when I came, a lot of people didn't speak English. They were only English. So for me it was hard. But I started looking for a youth group, so I could have have friends, and I was very involved over there in Mexico, with a career already, and coming here with nothing. I was nothing over here. I couldn't
Starting
work as a
over.
nurse because no English. I couldn't be around people that were speaking English because I couldn't understand anything. So that made me to look for a youth group so I could have a support system. So I couldn't feel alone, or as a young girl, I was like 20 years old when I came here, so it was hard for me not to have friends.
Yes.
So when I joined the youth group, when I met Sergio, it was like for me a big like growth, because he was from here. He speaks English very well. He knew the system, the culture, everything.
Yes.
So he really helped me to find myself over here, and to push myself to not only go to like a public English classes, but to go and look for like intensive English classes. And also, the whole group in the church was my support system too, because I could go with them and speak Spanish and
Yes.
live my culture also. Because it
Yes.
was, even we looked the same, it
different.
was different. Because
Yes.
I'm coming from over there, and he never went over there to live. And for me, it was hard to connect
Yes.
with cultures. But, when it's love, you can connect anywhere. Anyway.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
I think that was the beauty that I found here in Houston. It made me grow more to ambitious to not only learn English, but to start getting involved in as a young girl leader already, because the church helped us a lot to go in our leadership. So I started going, doing some little things with my leadership. And since then, we never stopped doing it.
Yeah.
No,
It's
you
part
are
of
still
us
going. Yes.
to get involved, create something new, to organize, and to bring resources to the people who don't have.
Yes.
For example, myself, I didn't have enough resources to survive here, but I had to go and look for them. And then now I know how to navigate everything, so I can help others
Yeah, you're
that
giving
are
back.
with me.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
that's how. But
Yeah.
with Sergio was different because he was already here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just want to echo what she's saying. It's surprising the number of marriages that end up in a divorce. I was looking at the data, over 50% within the first 8 years in a divorce. And back in our parents' generation, divorces were very uncommon.
Yes.
So
Right.
it was, it was looked upon as taboo. And I've always valued the marriage, the sacred marriage, and it's difficult and it's always challenging. And I recall, nowadays, people give up so easily, for, financial difficulties, or, there's lapses of commitment or career changes, and these are the reasons why divorce. Unless there's severe domestic abuse or substance abuse, the rest was love and faith can be worked out.
Yes.
And the way I look at it is because there's two ways. One from a Catholic Christian ethic, but also the journey of our parents, my parents. The Catholic Christian ethic is that you sacrifice, and the love of forgiveness is very powerful. So if you keep forgiving, the imperfections of your spouse because, he didn't pick up the toilet seat, or he didn't pick up his, his
Correct.
dishes.
Correct, yeah.
You learn to forgive, and you realize that those are minor. They're very minor details. And people nowadays are so hypersensitive and hyper in tune to these types of things. But in reality, in the big scope of life, they're very minimum because it's not about sacrifice and suffering. And the way I look at it from a Christian ethic is that, our Savior Jesus Christ sacrificed his life. So when I learned from nuns and priests that they sacrificed for others, without complaining, so therefore they were our role models because we didn't have any in society.
Yes.
So nuns and priests were our role models. So they gave us examples of going the extra mile, making a difference, sacrificing and not complaining, and being strong and persevering. That transfers into marriage as well.
Yes.
Right.
So on my parents' side, I always say, Dios mío, it's all contextual. People complain and divorce. I had a friend that divorced because they couldn't get along with the finances, so they divorced. I said, oh, my Lord.
Yes.
Our parents, if you knew the sacrifices they made to maintain a marriage for 37 years, It's incredible. They suffered 100 times more, and yet they persevered. They didn't have washing machines. They didn't have, computers. They didn't have a nanny to clean and somebody to do all your work. They didn't have all the extra modern day things that we have, and yet they survived. What is it why can't we survive? Mm-hmm. Why not? Let's put it in context. So, that was an example of my parents. Let me tell you a quick little story.
Sure.
One day I was doubting whether or not I should get married with her. I had my self-doubt, just that, that little bug that's there.
Yeah.
But it's good. It keeps you on your toes. So I tell my father, he didn't go to school to the 6th grade, and he said, my father, I said, Dad, we were sitting on the porch. I said, Dad, I'm afraid of getting married. And he said, why, mijo? I said, well, I think if I get married with Maria, I'm going to have a lot of problems in the future. And I was thinking like economic problems and, have to quit school and all of that. He goes, with his infinite wisdom, he told me, mijo, whether you're with Maria or not, you're going to have a lot of problems. But the key is that now she's with you to confront those problems as a team.
Yes.
Right.
And that was it.
Yeah. Yes,
that was wisdom.
Now you're not confronting all those challenges that you're going to have no matter what.
Whether you're single or not.
Those challenges are going to happen because that's just the way life is.
It is, yeah.
But to have the support system of someone as strong and as wonderful as Maria, well, I think that, it definitely helped get you ahead in some of the goals that you had.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when you're with the right person, they amplify the greatness that you have. And I truly believe that, and I see it within y'all as well. For example, what you were saying, going back to what y'all were saying, y'all have a common values. Y'all are leaders, natural leaders, and you like to be of service and provide value and do what you can to make this world a better place, right? And I think when you have those two, when you have the wife and the husband together in that same compass, if you will, that same view, the same direction, it makes things a little bit easier, or at least more better, to be able to handle whatever stresses are outside the marriage coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yes. I always say Sergio and I are salt and pepper.
Yeah.
Because we are very different. Like, our personalities are very different. But I think we have one thing in common, that we believe in God, we love God, and we want to be our rest of our life with God.
Yes.
And I think that's make it like everything. Because, being involved in church help us to understand the values of the family and the value of as a couple,
Yes.
Because we are different, we have different necessities. And being born in a different countries also make it plus,
Yes.
right? Because it's different. But one thing that I always think when I'm having problems with my pepper, I always think about, how can I respect him without hurting him?
Yes.
Because he's different. I always think about respect is recognize the differences, and I have to forgive him.
Yes.
Because he's not like me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's always helped me when we are having discussions, because we have a lot.
Yes.
We're not perfect.
Yeah, none of
we
us
fight
are.
a lot.
Yeah.
We challenge each other a lot, because both of us are leaders, and both of us are very independent.
Yes.
I'm coming from a single mom. My mom,
you're in survival.
like I'm a survivor.
That's
as a divorced parent. I always saw my mom like very strong. Like, nobody tell me what to do, because I'm the one is working and bringing the money and being a father and a mother.
Yes.
Also my grandmother was worse than my mom. She was double, triple strong.
Yeah.
Sergio can tell you. I'm coming from a very strong females.
Yes, yes.
Everybody's very strong.
Yeah.
But I have to remember, I have to remind myself that, this is my husband. And even I'm very strong, I have to respect him because he is the male of the house. And with the Christian values also always
Yes.
helping me to remind that I have to be with, even I'm the salt, he's the pepper, and both of us can make it better.
Yes.
With I'm the salt bringing the taste, but he can bring the extra taste.
The little extra
Yes.
taste.
So I
Yes.
always see ourselves like that.
Yeah.
We have to support each other, and we have to just be ourselves. We don't. I don't have to be nobody else. I always showing him who am I, and I'm always asking him to respect who am I too.
Yeah,
'Cause
and
I
he loves,
respect him,
and,
you respect
and
me.
he loves you being authentic just as much as you love the way he's authentic.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I trust him.
Absolutely.
When you respect, you trust,
Yes.
Yes.
and when you trust, you love,
Yes.
and when you love, you can be together with
Yes.
That's- I
And
mean,
whoever
everything
is,
yeah,
you
is
can
close
conquer.
to you.
And you can
Yeah,
conquer whatever else comes toward you
Yes.
that
Yeah.
you have no control over.
You
Yes.
can be.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just want to add that there's no magic formula, to have a beautiful, long-lasting marriage. But there are some fundamentals that I've experienced in my life that I would like to share with young couples
Yes.
or folks who are struggling with that. And that is, our marriage was founded on some basic religious ideas. We don't wear our religion on our sleeves. We're not trying here to preach to no one. It's just our basic Catholicism of loving each other, sacrificing for each other, commitment, and that's one thing that I've noticed has been the common thread in our marriage. We've been through ups, through storms, and also through wonderful mountains and beautiful, successes. But the common thread is that we have our common foundation in religion and our Catholicism. That is the Catholicism of forgiveness, to love and to respect each other, to communicate. Yes, Maria has a very strong personality and upbringing. My father was very reserved and quiet, and I'm more of an introvert. She's more an extrovert. But that doesn't mean that we cannot get along and work on things. And but for young couples is that you have to have a foundation based on just some basic principles of commitment, love,
And respect.
and trust. That's critical. She can go work, have a career. I don't worry about it, and then vice versa.
Yes.
And some folks worry about, spending too much time at work or, other folks. And, but if you love that person, you trust them, and you put them in the hands of God. And also you have to believe that there's 8 billion people on earth. For some reason, the good Lord put us together.
Yes. Correct.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. And it's such a blessing when you find that person that you can have all those wonderful experiences with. And it took Jaime and I a while to find each other, but you all were able to find your soulmates at a very young age, and just having all that foundation, that love and respect, and that is super important in any marriage, I think. So as you all were, kind of having your individual experiences, your individual goals and everything, how do y'all come together? Because I know that you both are super busy, both of y'all, in individual projects. And that's kind of something that, that's important to share. You can be individuals in your marriage, and you two exemplify that, where you have your own projects. But how do y'all come together and, still keep your marriage strong and find time for each other when you have such busy lives?
You want me to answer? Okay. She's it evolved to yeah, and to understand our separate needs. For example, she is very aligned with helping the immigrant community because, as she stated, she's an immigrant. So she's very aligned with helping to create a program or help single mothers, just like her mom, and etc. And so she's very attuned to that, and so she's branching out and creating opportunities for them. Me, my biggest concern growing up here is the lack of education, of a good quality education. So I dedicated my career and life to education. So, I'm we're going to have this big gala dinner for raising scholarship money for students that attend our Title I high schools here in Houston. And I realize how impactful, that scholarship is, how meaningful it is. And so I dedicate myself. So understanding our needs and who we are, where we come from, and giving them the freedom to explore and develop those projects and support each other. And how do we come together? Well, after all of that, in the weekends, we'll sit down and have dinner. I'm a big romantic guy. I always tell her, let's grab a couple of glasses of wine. Let's watch a good movie. We watched Fireproof the other night. Y'all got to watch it. It's a good love story for couples. Very powerful. If you're struggling in your marriage, watch Fireproof.
Nice,
it's
nice.
a great movie. I love movies, and I always invite her to, let's go out to dinner. Let's go out to movies. We all need to take a break. So that's how I kind of make that time for us. Now, if you want to share your part, see, that's the freedom.
There you go.
Yes, I think it's the server spirit.
Servant.
Servant
Yes, sir.
spirit.
Yes.
Who always bring us together. Because even we independent, when we come home, we satisfy our needs.
Yes.
And my needs, maybe as a woman, are different, but I can see his needs are very similar with me regarding helping others.
Yes.
So we come home, and like he said, we always try to eat together, like the meals.
Yes.
Breakfast, we just make two. Breakfast and then dinner. We don't have lunch.
Okay.
So yes, he's very romantic. I'm more passionate, but not very romantic. And that's
It's a good balance.
That's
But it's a good balance.
Yeah,
It's-
you
yes,
balance
that's
each
the
other
good
out.
balance.
It's
Yes,
it
he's
complements.
an introvert. I'm an extrovert.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of differences.
That's hard for me to believe that you're an introvert. I mean, for us who know you, I would never peg you as an introvert. But I always say that I'm an introvert. I keep trying to be an introvert, but Jaime doesn't let me. So I keep having to be.
So me and Maria, we're like the way we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
I keep trying to be an introvert, but having Jaime in my life doesn't allow for that. But definitely, y'all have your differences, but you come together so well and support each other so well. And I love like what you were sharing about trying to find somewhere whenever you got to this country that you felt like you belonged and everything. I feel like you're still continuing that work and what you're doing right now with Latinas Conversando en Español, correct?
Yes.
And it's such a wonderful project because I see it. When I see it, I think of the work that I used to do when I used to work for the school district, and how we had the place for families or parents to come together, and we had like a community union.
Yes.
And I love that it all kind of circles back to that original, feeling that you had when you were coming here. Now you're providing a space and a place for that. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes.
Yes. Latinas Conversando en Español is me reflecting myself when I came from Mexico here, because I can see a lot of the Latinas that speak Spanish. They don't have this space either. Even I'm talking about 1986 and 2024. It changed, but I don't think changed that much.
Gotcha.
We still in the need for Latinas that speak Spanish to have these spaces. They don't have the knowledge of the culture. Even they live here, they cannot feel the same.
It's very different.
It's very different. The culture, you need to live in Mexico, like you need to be from here to live over there. so you can understand what
Yes.
I'm talking about.
Correct.
Right.
It's very different. Even we Latinos, like I speak English, he speaks Spanish. Still, in the marriage, we have those differences
Yes.
of culture.
Right.
Yes.
So, Latinas conversando en español made me feel like I'm alive.
Oh,
You know,
that's
I'm
beautiful.
alive because I can every time that I have a meeting with the ladies, you know, I can see the happiness that I can bring to them as the same when he brought it to me.
Oh.
Because he provide to me what I was needing.
Yes.
Now I provide them what they need.
Yes.
You know, I can bring resources. You know, I can bring a lot of knowledge of the culture over here. I can invite them to come to different places,
Yes.
Yes.
to meet different people. You know, they can have role models like I had him when I came here. You know, and I can see they learning, they hungry, like I was, and I'm still.
Yes.
Because I know I'm never gonna be like that fluent with the English because I'm coming from another country. I love that I can express myself even with a different sound and tone, and
Yes.
but I don't care.
That's
You know,
that's-
we-
I
yes.
can express myself
Absolutely.
in English.
You can.
You know, and I can.
And you sound amazing.
and you
you're
do
doing
sound
a great-
amazing,
Great,
yes.
job. And you are an inspiration for all those
Yes.
ladies that you're now working with. That you can do it, and
Yes.
you can strive in this country just as much as they could in their own country, or even more, because you are providing that space for them now, for them to really get that experience. So
Yes,
that's
yes.
wonderful.
So that project for me, I think is growing. Like every time it's growing more, and that made me very happy. So I can be myself, and then I can come home, and I can be with my provider because he's still teaching me stuff.
Yes.
And I'm happy because when you can give something to somebody, it's like giving yourself something too, because I'm
Yes.
learning from them too.
Yes.
Right.
I never gonna forget who am I through them, because I need to remind myself that I'm not stopping right here. I have to keep growing myself so I can keep helping others
Yes.
at the same time. So
Yeah.
it's like come and go.
Yeah, it's a win-win situation.
Yes.
But it's a beautiful thing when one figures out their purpose in life.
Yeah.
And when one figures out in purpose in life, it really stems down servicing. Providing service, providing value, providing just help. It's just, you're when we find our purpose, I realize that in my experience, I just feel like we're trying to make this world a better place with our talents, skills, and abilities and passion, right? So yes.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to, say on that point is that, again, everything goes back to our fundamental ideas that we learned in the church, the concepts. And one is the purpose in life. And what I see with so many folks and youth and college grads is that they don't have the purpose. They have a career, but not a purpose.
Yes.
Right.
Purpose is different than a career. Purpose is that when you learn what we learned in our Catholic upbringing is that we were given from the conception of life, it has dignity, and God created us for a purpose. God did
Absolutely.
not create us for not to have a purpose. It's a privilege. It's a blessing. It's
Yes.
sacred.
Yes.
The breath of air is sacred. So by that understanding, then we question. It becomes through osmosis. We question, why are we here? What am I doing? Why did God provide me this opportunity to live every day, where so many other people are not able to have this opportunity in this great country? So if you look at it from a Christian sense, well, I was given a purpose when God breathed life in me, but also I have life now to do something. And that purpose is a Christian value of helping others.
Yes.
Right.
Making a difference, whether it's helping immigrant women, whether it's helping at-risk students, or whether it's helping, rescuing dogs, or
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
It's a purpose.
It's a purpose.
Yes,
and
it's having that
that's-
strong purpose, something that drives you. Like you don't even even able to explain how it just fills your heart, like what you were saying. It fills you with this love, and that's that purpose.
But ultimately, at the end, you're gonna look back and say, "What did I accomplish?
Yes.
What did I do? How did I make a difference in life? Not how much money I made,
Right.
but how much of a difference." And the best quote from Cesar Chavez, he says, "You don't measure a man by his success of his material things. You measure a man by his suffering."
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I truly believe in that.
No, absolutely. There's
And the
Christ
legacy
suffered.
you leave behind,
and the legacy.
the impact that you've had along the way on different people and individuals in your life, whether that's in your family, whether that's in the community, whether that's in yourselves. You are creating that as you go along, and it's whenever you're driven with that purpose. And lucky for us, we discovered that in throughout our lives what our purpose was, and our purpose is helping others. So that's what we love to do. We love to like, for example, for me, I love to work with families. I love to work with parents and their young children, and talk about early childhood development with their little ones, and that's my purpose. That's something that I love to do. But Jaime, he was born for sharing all the knowledge that he's acquired over the years, and he does so good teaching others. And I think that when you find your purpose, and you have the spouse and you have the partner in your life that supports you during that time and says, "You can do it. You have my support, and I'm going to be there for you," that makes a whole lot of difference between somebody who sees their purpose but they're not in the right space, or they don't have the people in their lives to help them reach that. So
and to understand that.
And to understand
The difference between purpose and career.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a pyramid. First we're human, and then we're Christians, and we're fortunate, and then we have our career. And when we flip it the other way around, that's when marriages crumble.
It's there's another quote that I think that is very similar to Cesar Chavez, and I forget who wrote the quote, but it was a real powerful one, and it says, "A man that does not have purpose indulges in pleasurable desires," and basically they lose themselves,
Right.
and then they're bitter,
Yeah.
angry at the world. Then
Yeah, I think we were, I know that we were called to serve.
yes.
When you find your calling, it makes it easier. And I think Sergio and I found our calling very young, and we live it every day.
Yes.
We cannot forget where we're coming from.
Yes.
So because we know where we're coming from, we know where to go.
Yes.
Serving is our passion. Serving is our life. We serve outside, but also we serve in our family. We don't forget our grandkids.
Correct.
We don't forget our kids, our own kids. Because it doesn't match if you go over there and then serve outside, but you come and you don't pay attention to your kids.
Right.
We have a very good relationship with our kids. We have a very good relation with the grandkids, and we have a very good relationship with family. His family and my family comes together to our parties, to our Sundays barbecues.
beautiful.
We play loteria. We were just playing yesterday.
Yes,
Loteria.
I saw that. Yes.
His brother and my mom. We can come together all the time. And I think that's because we found our calling.
That's it.
And that makes it easier.
Yes. Yes. Now, how can someone follow your purpose and what you're doing, in social media that pertains to the project that you're involved in?
Yeah, each of you.
Or
if
each
y'all
of
can
you,
share
too. Yes.
where they can find you and find the projects that you're working on right now.
Well, right now, my program is 6 months only.
Okay.
So I'm working on it.
Perfect.
We promote in Facebook, and most of the time we like the ladies promote themselves and bring other people, inviting like
They're sharing.
verbally.
Yeah.
Yes.
I start with 14 or 12, and right now we are like 43 or 46.
It's growing fast.
I have 25 very involved, like they come every meeting, and the other ones come like occasionally because they work, because some other stuff.
It's difficult. Yes.
But I think most of the time I promote myself in Facebook.
Okay, then
Yes.
I definitely will put it on the link on YouTube and our YouTube channel so that it can find more information about your program.
Yes, I'm working and create the website and
Okay.
logo and all of that, because this is a group. That's not a 501c3 organization. It's only a group, but maybe I'm thinking
It'll
about
happen.
it because
It's
they've
gonna
been
happen.
asking
It's gonna
me.
happen.
Yes.
But I'm getting a lot of people that I don't even invite, and they just coming, and they
It's gonna keep
calling
growing.
me
It's gonna keep
like,
growing,
I want to
yeah.
go to your group.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
it's
you're the light.
amazing how
You're a light.
Like I'm telling Sergio, I don't even looking for anybody. They
Yeah.
looking for us.
Yes.
Like they want to come and
You're-
just bring the resources. I don't even looking for resources. I'm supposed to look for them. I'm not looking for them. They just come in, and I think that's because I see this is my mission. I'm doing my mission, and as a woman of faith, I believe that I say yes to the Lord, and He's gonna just bring whatever
Absolutely.
He wants to do with me or with my work, with the people who's around.
Yes.
It's easy when you put yourself and you believe in that. I think everything comes
Yeah,
together.
it falls in
Absolutely.
place.
It falls in
Yeah,
place,
and I think-
yes. So
I
I'm not
think that-
promoting a lot.
Yeah, the light that Sergio saw when he met you, everyone sees your
Yes.
light. You have such a beautiful, bright light when we meet
thank
you.
you.
And I think that is what's drawing all these people to your
Yeah.
to your project, and we hope to also share
Thank
that with
you.
others and
Yes,
to
thank
support you in every
And support
way
you
we can.
in any which way we
Thank
can.
you. Yes, no,
Yeah.
it's very. I feel very very happy
Yes.
because I can see these ladies when they came the first day. Now the way they're growing up so fast, and they're learning everything, like how to dress for success, and how to
Interesting. That's
create
awesome.
an agenda, and some of them wanted to study English. They're already in the classes, GD. They want to create small businesses. Like they promoting themselves with little cheesecakes. Like they growing so fast,
That's
and they're
beautiful.
so happy. And they say
Yes.
they want to like do network now because they're
That's
learning
amazing.
like.
That means they're building
English.
confidence with
Yes.
themselves.
Yes, and
Yes.
I have this lady. I need to say it.
Yes.
This lady, when the first meeting, I asked him to write what is your goal that you never did it before when you were younger. So they start like writing different goals, and this lady said, I want to buy a car, and I said, oh, okay. So she wrote it. And I said, but I don't know. I don't have money. My husband passed away, and I'm not working. And I told her, well, what can you do? And then she said, well, I'm very good in selling stuff. And I said, well, go ahead and look for something. He started selling peanuts, nopalitos, and semillitas blancas. I don't know how
Okay.
to say it.
So-
Sunflowers.
Like sunflowers,
Sunflowers. And it was like, this was around September. December, she came out with $5,000
Wow.
for her car. And we're looking right now to buy.
Oh, that's
That is
amazing.
amazing. Creating entrepreneurs.
But she's selling,
Absolutely.
and she goes to Home Depot. She's selling everywhere. She has su morral aquí.
Wow.
She's selling.
awesome.
So
That's
Definitely a
Yes.
natural entrepreneur, right?
I told
Yes,
her, said,
yeah.
no, you just have to. We're gonna give you a push, and you're gonna do it. But now she's ready. She's almost getting the
That's
car.
amazing. That's a beautiful
That's
story there. That's awesome.
Yes,
Beautiful.
yes.
Yeah. So how can anybody look, find you on social media?
just look at slira7001 at gmail.com. As president of Greater Houston LULAC, I've been a member. This is my 20th year. We just advocate for civil rights, education, and criminal justice. But of course, my pet peeve, my area is always education.
Yes.
We're having a big gala dinner on May the 13th.
Okay.
You're invited.
Thank you.
From 6 to 9
Okay.
at the ballroom on Tanglewood.
Okay.
And we raised $20,000. We're going to give 20 scholarships of $1,000 each to area high school students
That's
in
awesome.
Title I high schools. Within the last 3 years, we raised over $40,000 for students. And if you're interested in helping donate and sponsor,
Yes.
please call me at 832-541-6130, or you can email me at slira7001 at gmail.com. And as Marias was saying, when you give so much to the community and you've proven yourself and you have a track record, and people honor that and respect that, they come looking for you.
Yes.
And we've been so blessed that we have such wonderful friends who are able to provide resources for us and help us to continue this great work of being servant leaders and serving our community. And ultimately, that is why we're here on earth. And
Absolutely.
Yes.
and that's why we're here. That's our purpose.
That's it. That's it. That's it. So, anything else you'd like to?
I am so excited. I love talking to you guys all the time.
Yes, it's
so
fun.
this was great, and we just appreciate you all being part of today's podcast.
Well, if you're looking at this through YouTube, please hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel. And I will leave these links also on the description and on the YouTube, and also on Spotify as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Drive Momentum. Keep the momentum alive by following us on social media. Links are in the bio or in the description. Until next time, stay driven and inspired.